morning, guys, from Whitehorse, Yukon Territory. How you doing? We are pushing towards Alaska on our way home, and today's drive is probably one of the longer, more intense sections of the Alaska highway. It's nothing that should ever stop you from driving it, but it is the part that requires a little bit of patience and can be a little more intense. And what I'm referring to are frost heaves, which is when the ground below the road surface freezes and thaws and just causes these giant whoop-de-doos, which can really throw you. So our drive is pretty much just started, and we are already hitting road construction. That's another delay that you could experience on the Alaska highway, because during the winter months, road construction just doesn't happen. And our summer months are so short at these high latitudes that they have a very small window to improve the roads. And then every year after winter, the roads need some form of a repair. So it all just kind of compounds. So be prepared for spots of road construction, and it can be bumpy, you know, just like any kind of graveled section of a construction zone. And then rain never helps, because that always makes little holes. So it's just another thing to be prepared for on the Alaska highway. The weather is very refreshing. Like, I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt today and socks. It just feels very refreshing to not be hot all the time. You know, when you sleep, it's kind of nice having to knead the blankets instead of just kicking them all off to the end of the bed. So guys, here's another sign that we're getting close to home. The windshield is starting to fog up, and we needed to switch our fans to the windshield instead of blowing at us. So one other thing about this stretch that we're about to drive today, guys, it is very scenic. Obviously, it is cloudy and rainy today, so the mountaintops are gonna be hidden, but when it is clear, the jagged peaks and the mountains just start looking more like the Alaska mountains from home. It's a very, very nice transition. Okay guys, we are trying something new on the drive today. Granted, the driver's not gonna be able to watch the screen, but we're going to watch one of the sitcoms that we bought the whole series of, Mad About You, on today's drive.
All right then.
Hey guys, our last fuel stop in Canada is here in Haines Junction, and if you got a diesel, make sure you don't mix up the colors. Yellow handles on diesel, and then green handles on the gas. Well, here's something you don't see every day. Somebody left their card in the reader, and I am intentionally covering up their name and credit card number. $1.17 a liter. Somebody left their credit card in the pump out there.
Ay, ay, ay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. It is always a ride back here when you're trying to cook. And fortunately, we found the pull-off that we were looking for just as I was about to put the grilled cheese sandwiches on. So guys, as you're driving the Alaska Highway here, road damage and frost heaves can be marked with several different things. And here's an example of a frost heave. And to the left, you see a little flag, but it's just a whoop-de-doo, and that one wasn't too bad. But they can also be marked with pylons or signs that have like 2 or 3 bumps on them. So just kind of be on the lookout for those. And some of them are also not even marked, but some of the marked ones aren't all that bad. It's just the way it goes and what to be prepared for on the good old Alaska Highway.
Often seen me drive the RV a lot this winter because we haven't driven as much as we have historically, as many miles that is. And I know a lot of people wonder what I'm doing over there in that other seat, and I work as a consultant and I also run our other business, and so I have a lot of irons in the fire in addition to being the co-pilot and navigator and finding places for us to stay and places for us to eat or making food for us and making sure we're on the right roads and all of those sorts of things. So it's a pretty busy job over there. But when we're driving long distances, I do regularly relieve Ben from driving duties like I am today, and we kind of have a standing joke in the RV because it seems like every time I get in the driver's seat, we hit like the biggest mountain range or the worst road we've ever seen. And I'm over here like putting fingerprints into the steering wheel. And this is definitely the worst patch of the Alaska Highway that we're driving today, but it's really not that bad. I know a lot of people have concerns about the roads up here. Honestly, they're just not that bad anymore. They keep them well maintained. There's that one 25-mile stretch that is gravel. It's not horrible, you just have to go slow. And so it's irritating more than anything. But this is actually a really fun drive. We always enjoy it. It's long, and this time we're particularly anxious to get home, and coming all the way from Kansas was a lot farther than just coming from maybe like Washington, like we did last year. But that kind of brings us to a topic that we thought we would discuss today, of the fact that we're pretty adamant that all of the adults in the vehicle need to be able to drive the vehicle. And truthfully, this comes down to just safety. You know, if somebody's sick or hurt or injured, any one of you needs to be able to get in the car or the motorhome or the truck with the trailer behind it and drive it. And if you don't know how to do that at this point, then you take some time and you go somewhere on an easy road to drive where you can learn how to drive and get comfortable with it. And truthfully, anybody can do this. It's just a matter of getting comfortable. And it's a matter of learning the rig and where to put it on the road and all of the little innuendos of the vehicle, just like you do a regular car. It's not just vehicles that we feel this way about either. Everybody knows that Ben is a boat captain and has a license with the Coast Guard and everything, but what a lot of people probably don't know is that we've always made sure that I know how to drive any boat that we happen to be on as well. And it's just for safety. It doesn't matter if somebody gets hurt or injured or sick, or if it's just to relieve the captain, I can get behind the wheel and get us back to the dock as well.
Okay guys, here's a stretch with some decent frost heaves. And these ones are marked with flags, but you just kind of roll right through them and try not to carry too much speed and get thrown off the road. We have literally just started the dirt road stretch. Lo and behold, less than 1 mile after we start, we get a massive rock chip. That right there is a $500 deductible to get a new windshield, because we can sell it with small stuff, but not a big one like that.
We're coming into Beaver Creek now, which is kind of the mile marker that lets you know, well, it's a town, but it's the point on the road where you know, okay, we're past the rough road. And this is a stretch of highway where they're always making improvements, and they really have done a great job this year. It's uber better than it's ever been on any of our road trips before. So there weren't any patches like what we've experienced in the past where you have to go like 5 miles an hour. And there were still, you know, potholes and frost heaves, but very manageable.
Well, making it to Beaver Creek also means that we are very close to the US and Canada border. One thing to keep in mind is that the border stations are not like right next to each other. You have the Canadian border, which we're gonna come up on the left side, but different direction of traffic, and we just drive right on past that. I'm to memory somewhere between 10-20 miles, and then you hit the US customs and immigration area. So that's what you need to expect when coming through here. Okay guys, well, just as we said, like, that stretch before Beaver Creek was the smoothest we've ever seen it. Well, this stretch here in no man's land is the roughest we've ever seen it. Tons of frost heaves, and that is just the way it goes. Like, the road is literally a living creature. And historically, the stretch up here after the US border inspection station can be rough with frost heaves as well. So right up here on the left is the physical border between the US and Canada. You know, we've taken our fair share of pictures here, so I think we're just gonna hold off. I know that sounds bad, but there are some folks down there taking their pictures for their visit to Alaska. Definitely, it's a great place to stop. And if you go further down, there's a back there's a sign that has Alaska and Yukon on each side of it, and it's right in line with the border between the two countries. Totally worth checking out. So it's not just the Alaska sign. So this is the US border inspection station, and we've never really experienced much of a line. There's somebody doing their business up at the booth now, and then this kind of silver car in front of us. So not bad. A 3-car wait to get back into the States. You will hardly ever find that on the southern border of the United States though.
How's it going?
Pretty
Doing
good.
well.
How are you today?
Doing great. You guys need to remove your sunglasses for inspection?
Yes.
What do you guys have on board from Canada?
From Canada?
Yep.
Nothing.
Nothing.
A little bit of gas in the tank.
Couple of
Fuel,
groceries.
snacks, souvenirs. Would that take care of anything from
Yeah.
Canada?
Oh yeah.
Okay, any firearms on board?
Yes, and they were
Canadian permit. Anytime you guys cross the border with firearms, have your passports and the firearms permit ready. If you have it already in your passports like that, it'll be a whole lot faster and the line doesn't get as long. You know,
Yeah.
You guys kind of saw that. You guys are all set. Have a good one.
Thanks.
You too.
Well, look out, Alaska. We are home, and it feels good. Welcome home, honey.
Thank you. You too.
Yes, so now the push to toke. It just looks so much more like Alaska now, doesn't it?
I think it's safe to say we have arrived. We are at Fast Eddie's restaurant here in Tok. I drove 386 miles today, and they were hard miles, not easy freeway miles. And we got really good gas mileage. I drove 287 miles and we're still a little bit above half a tank on this tank of fuel. So We're gonna grab some dinner because it is almost 6 o'clock and we've driven all day, and we love to eat at Fast Eddie's. They have this great salad bar. It has felt really good to get back towards Alaska and now actually be in Alaska. It's been raining on us all day, and it was such a welcomed treat this morning to wake up to rain on the roof. I know that sounds really stupid, but I don't know, it's the weather's cool, and it's been you know, just a nice rain, not torrential downpour or anything, and that's home, you know. So we're almost there. It's been a really long journey. We're gonna go rest, eat up, and we'll see where we can find a park for the night.
Well, dinner at Fast Eddie's was good. Salad bar rocks, and they had a prime rib sandwich as a special. Good stuff. So now we're gonna find a
pull off on the Toke Cutoff. Thanks for joining us today. Be sure to hit that subscribe button so you can come home with us. We'll be back on the highway tomorrow. Thanks for joining us and have a great night.